Hi everyone, welcome back. So in the last video we made this menu options for our application, and in this video we are going to replace this console logs with actual functionality. Okay, and in this video we are also going to learn CRUD operation in Node.js. So you might be wondering, what is CRUD? So basically CRUD means create, read, update and delete. So this create, read, update and delete is known as CRUD, and we are going to learn how we can perform this CRUD operation in our application. Okay, and let me change the sequence of this menu. So let me put it above, and let me put this above, and let's change the sequence. Let's do 1 2 3 4. Okay, and let's also change the sequence over here. So read will go up and delete will go down. So let's do it. So without further ado, let's learn how we can create a node. Okay, so to create a node we need two modules. So let's learn how we can write a file in Node.js. So to write a file in Node.js we need this fs module. Okay, and this is how we write a file. We use this write file method to write the file. Here we provide the file name and the content and a callback function to handle the errors. Okay, and we will also need a prompt. So to show prompts we'll use this prompt sync library in our application. So let me copy this and let's come to our code, and here we have to install this prompt sync module. So I think the module is installed. Let's see. So in dependency we can see prompt syncs and its version is 4.2.0. Okay, so now let's create a new folder over here. Let's call it helper, and in this helper let's create a new file. Let's call it create node.js. Okay, first we will need to import all the modules, that is fs module and this prompt sync module. So let's import them. Const fs is equals to require fs. Okay, and then we will need this prompt sync. So how do we import? We import like this. So let me copy it from here and let me paste it here. Okay, and instead of using this var, let me use const. Okay, and now let me make a function. Let's call it create node. It is an arrow function. You can use simple functions also, and let me export it. So how do we export? We write module dot exports and the name of the function, that is create node. Okay, and let's write the functionality of create node over here. Okay, so here we will create a prompt of adding a title of node and the content of node. Okay, so how do we create a prompt? So basically to create a prompt we will need this prompt method. Okay, so let's create a prompt. Let's call it const title equal prompt, and let's say add the title of the node, yeah, of your node. Okay, and let me put a colon over here, and let's also put content over here. So const content is equals to prompt add the content of your node, the content of your node. So we created these two prompts for adding the title and for adding the content. So now let's write the file. So now let's learn how we can write the file. To write a file we'll use this write file method. So let me copy this whole code from here. Okay, and let me paste it over here. So we are using this fs dot write file method, and here is the file name. So let me change the file name and let's make it title dot txt. Okay, so this is our file name. Here we'll have our content this content, and if we get error, we are printing the error. Else, let's show that file is created successfully. So let's say note created successfully. Okay, and let's check whether it works or not. And now we have to import this create node function over here. So instead of doing this console log, let's call this function create node. Okay, and let's see whether it works or not. And after this call, let's close the interface. So how do we close the interface? rl dot close. Okay, and let's see whether it works or not. Let's run our application, npm run start, and we have to create a node. So press enter. It is asking for the title, so let's write note 1, and the description, let's say this is description of the note. Okay, and let's press enter. And if you see here, we have this note1.txt file that I created over here. So our create function or create note function is working perfectly fine. So now let's make a function to read a note. Okay, so to read a note, let's make a new file. Let's call it read note.js, and let me copy everything from here to here. Okay, and we'll need this fs and this prompt library. We'll need this title only, we don't need this content for reading a file. Also, how do we read a file? So let's come to this node.js documentation, and if you see over here, it is showing reading file with node.js. Let's click it over here, and to read a file, we use this read file method. We pass the file name and then the encoding. So let's copy this. Okay, so let's copy this, and or let's replace this with read file. Okay, so read file, and we don't need this content, so let's remove it. And over here, instead of consoling.log, and over here let's print the data. So console.log data. How do I get the data? We get the data here in this callback function. So let's check whether this works or not. And also I have to replace the name. I have to change the name from create node to read node. Okay, and let me replace it over here, read node. And let's also, we have to import it over here. So let's call this function read node. Okay, and let's copy this, let's paste it over here, not here. Okay, so for case first we are creating note, and for case second we are reading a note. So let's check whether this works or not. So let's run our application, npm run start. We want to read a note. So what is the title of our note? So the title of our note is note 1, and let's press enter, and it is showing this buffer. So I think I forget to pass the encoding. So let me pass the encoding over here. Okay, over here let me pass the encoding. So let's pass UTF-8, and let's see whether it works or not. So let me try to rerun it again, and we want to read a note. What is the title? So title is note 1, and okay, this is working. So this is the description of the note, and if you see in this file, this is the description of the note. Okay, so our create note functionality is working, our read note functionality is working. So let's see how we can create this delete note functionality. So let's make a new function. Let's call it delete note.js, and let me copy everything from this read note. Okay, and let me paste it in delete note. Okay, first let's change the name of the function. Let's call it delete note, and let me replace it over here, delete note. Okay, and to delete a node, it's really simple. We'll need this unlink. Okay, we'll pass the file name, so we don't need this encoding, so let's remove it, and we don't get a data, we'll only get this error. And let's print node deleted successfully. Okay, so I think everything looks good. We have to import it over here, deleting a node. So let's call this function delete node, and after that let's close the interface, that is rl dot close. Okay, and let's see whether it works or not. So let's try to delete this note1.txt file. Okay, so let me rerun my okay, so it is giving me an error. It is showing me okay, unexpected token. So let's come over here, we have two commas, so let's fix it and let's try to rerun it again. We want to delete, so option 4, add the title of your note, note 1, and let's see whether this note 1 get deleted or not. Press enter, and we don't have note 1. Okay, so we made this create node functionality, we also made this read node functionality and delete node functionality. Okay, Arvind, what about updating a note? So updating a note is your assignment, so let me write it over here. Update a note is your assignment. Okay, so you have to figure it out how we can update an existing note. Okay, so this is it for this video. In this video we learned how we can do CRUD operation in Node.js, and in the next video we are going to make this feature showing all the nodes and doing some optimization in this application. So I'll see you there. Thank you.